Shali, and the purpose of today's video is to record a video for Mimi and her Virtual Kombucha Workshop. I was just being interviewed by Mimi in her group, and unfortunately technology did not work in our favor today, but I felt that it would be most helpful to answer the questions that Mimi had asked me and give you the answers here in the video. And I thought, you know what, while I'm recording this, maybe this would be helpful for other people too. So I'm just going to go through the list of questions, all related around gut health, and hopefully you find some value and something beneficial in what I share here today. So just so you guys know me a little bit more, I wanted to kind of give you a little bit of my story, so you know where I came from and where I am today. So yeah, let's just jump right in. So as I mentioned, my name is Britney Shali. I'm founder of Whole and Healthy Kitchen. But about 10 years ago, I was in university and I was graduating in my 5th and final year. And it was at a point in my life where I was really overweight. I was self-conscious. I didn't know what to do with my life. And it just so happened that my university went on strike for 16 weeks. And so that gave me an opportunity to really contemplate things and really look at myself and my life where it was. And at that time, I was reading Elizabeth Gilbert's book, Eat, Pray, Love. And it was one evening, like many evenings, where I had just finished binging that night. And inside her book, she has a moment where she falls to the floor, she calls to God, and God answered her. And I remember my mind was that I'm afraid of failing. I was like, afraid of failing at what? And I just saw the list of everything that I was afraid of failing at, from failing in the eyes of my parents, failing at school, failing in ability to lose weight, failing in not being able to find the right guy, and on and on and on. So it was in that moment that I decided that I was not going to base my life on fear anymore, but I was going to base my life on love. So I literally handed my life over and said, God, you spoke to me, you lead me, right? Show me the way. And it just so happened that I was first directed down the path of becoming a life coach, and the modalities that I ran into first were those of hypnosis, neurolinguistics programming, metaphysics. And then slowly but surely along my path of mind training and learning how to heal within myself and in my relationship to food, I started to get into holistic nutrition. And then I started traveling and cooking. And I started cooking for my partner, who's now my hubby. And I was cooking with all the people that we were traveling and staying with. And I found this real passion for cooking healthy meals. And slowly but surely, I developed a new skill set in the kitchen, and I started to realize that when I started thinking about cooking to nourish others instead of just eating to not be hungry, that my entire relationship to food changed and the whole dynamic changed, and I stopped binge eating. I lost all the weight. I was loving myself, and I was on my path to fulfilling my purpose. And so that brought me to just after my daughter was born, and I started realizing like the necessity of moms being empowered to cook in the kitchen, because we have no choice but to feed our kids, and either we're just going to feed them again to not be hungry, or we're going to feed them to nourish. And so this has become part of my mission and my purpose with Whole and Healthy Kitchen, is to help moms and souls to enhance the thoughts they think and the meals they make, so that they can nourish themselves, their family, and then ultimately future generations, and pass along this sense of self and health and happiness and well-being to our children and our children's children, and so far and so forth. So we could just keep blessing the people of the world. So that's brought me to where I am today. I focus a lot on coaching and also my course, Kitchen Alchemy, that I'm in the process of launching again. And so I'm really grateful to talk on topics such as gut health, because it's something that is so important and foundational to understand when it comes to being able to decide what we should eat and what we shouldn't eat and why, right? So hopefully understanding gut health will help you to understand why you want to eat well and why you want to care for your body. So this leads us into what is gut health, and I'm going to try and simplify it and break it down to the best of my ability so it's not so complex, because it can be a complex topic. But gut health, what is it? Okay, so experts say that the gut, also known as the microbiome, is where the key to health lies. Okay, so the gut is made up of trillions of different bacteria and organisms that are contained within your stomach and your intestines. So basically, like, your stomach and intestines is also called the gut, but it's also called the microbiome, and it's basically referring what's inside the stomach and the intestines, okay? Like bacteria, fungi, organisms, all that stuff. So when the gut/microbiome has the proper proportions of good bacteria to bad bacteria, weighing on the side of more good bacteria with lots of diversity, that is gut health. Okay, so when we have good gut health, our body functions optimally and healthfully, and there's a lot of effects of that. So let's get into that. Why is gut health important? So gut health is important because of predominantly the long-term effects that come from having a healthy gut. So those long-term effects of having a good gut health are feeling more energetic, you have mental clarity, you have well-balanced emotions, you have this sense of well-being and vitality, you don't get sick far less often, all the good stuff, right? But when it comes to like the long-term negative effects of like poor digestion or a bad gut bacteria, is obviously weight gain, which leads to things like obesity and diabetes and heart disease, as well as, you know, bloating, just everyday bloating, autoimmune diseases that can come out of that, and even anxiety and depression is now seen in the scientific papers to be an effect of poor gut health. So there's so many factors, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally, that are affected because of the gut. And there's also science that points to the link between the gut and the brain, that they literally like communicate to one another. Just an example, like when you get you're nervous, you get like butterflies in your tummy, you know, stuff like that. They're really intricately connected, so you can't tear one away from the other. So gut health is important because if we don't care for our gut, then we can unknowingly damage the cell walls, which lead to inflammation and which lead to sickness, right? Because inflammation is ultimately like one of the causes of sickness, and inflammation happens as the body's defense mechanism to pain or to hurt or to sickness. It's literally how the body deals with things. Just like if you like will twist your ankle and you'll get swelling and it'll get red and it'll get poofy, that's your body trying to protect itself against damage. So when your cells have been damaged, when your microbiome has been damaged, then inflammation happens to protect that. But then when your body is inflamed, it can't deal with its processes normally, and you will not function as a normal healthy human being. So let me show you an example of this, which is like my favorite thing. And I'll hold it up and I will do the best I can to explain this. Okay. You don't really have to read anything because I'll point it out to you, okay? So you see here, this is called the membrane. And just think about that as like the lining of the stomach that keeps all like the bacteria and the fungi and the organisms in place, like inside your stomach. And then this is like, you know, all the health, this is like a healthy constitution of the inside of your stomach. This is also what like keeps the yeast and bacteria and parasites where they're supposed to be. And you'll see here, this is like when we eat food. So like the digestive system starts in your mouth with your saliva, goes down the esophagus, right? And then down into your large intestine and then into your stomach. And so once it hits the large intestine, the stomach, large food particles get broken down by enzymes that work like scissors to cut it down to make medium food particles, which break it down more to its smallest, dense nutrient particles. And then it's those nutrients that get absorbed through the membrane wall of the stomach and into the bloodstream, which then allows our body to take that nutrients and ship it off to whatever part of our body needs it the most, okay? That is a healthy, well-functioning gut. Whereas down here, this is called a compromised gut lining. So you see we still have the membrane, all is well with the membrane, but then you see the protective layers here on the inside of the membrane are wonky and falling down, and there's like holes, right? So what you see here is that when we do not have the proper ratio of good bacteria to bad bacteria, and we have an overgrowth of bad bacteria, an unhealthy gut, which is like less that you're eating. And secondly, it's getting leaked into the bloodstream, which causes food allergies. That's what causes inflammation. Now you're getting your yeast, your bacteria, all of the parasites into your bloodstream, which lead to infections and so on and so forth. This is just the makeup for an unhealthy body, an unhealthy mental well-being. It all extends from the gut. So it's very important to have a healthy gut so that you have a healthy being. An unhealthy gut leads to an unhealthy being, and that's, you know, something to be conscious of. So I hope that's helpful for you. This diagram is not mine. It's actually from a book called Meals That Heal Inflammation, and I really recommend it. She's fantastic. So that's basically showing you why gut health is important. Also, if you have any more questions about that or wanted to say anything, just comment below and I would be happy to answer. So the next question that we lean into here are, what are good foods to eat for gut health? Very important. Considering this is for a kombucha online workshop, kombucha is so important because it's fermented. It has those microorganisms. It has those probiotics that are good for the gut. So kombucha is amazing. For other fermentations, for other ferments that you can have as well, or instead, you can do things like sauerkraut, which is one of my favorites. I love making it at home. It's actually pretty easy. I've got information about that on my website, on my blog. Also sourdough bread, which is another thing I'm obsessed with and absolutely love. You can also find things like kimchi, which is more of like a Japanese style, like fermented vegetables, and kefir. Some people call it kefir, which is like a fermented milk-based drink. So it's kind of like a drinkable yogurt. And for those, I get like strawberry, blueberry, mango flavor for my daughter. It's got some sugar, but you know, it's all right. So those are like the ferments that you really are necessary for a healthy gut. And obviously plant-based foods, lots of vegetables, berries, fruit, lean protein, quality oil, whole grains, preferably sprouted whole grains if you can, and anything that's just high in fiber, because fiber helps like bind the things in your belly together to get it out of your system where it doesn't belong in your system. Get it out. So that's the good foods. And a lot of the time you want to have, like when you're thinking a well-balanced meal, half your plate is vegetables or fruit, and then the other side of the plate is split in quarters between, you know, your whole grains, your lean proteins, and then your drizzle of your oil. So then on to the bad foods. It's really simple actually. Just think about it like this. There's two things. Refined sugar, which includes white carbohydrates. Get rid of it to the best of your ability. 80-20 anyways. 20% of the time, enjoy yourself. 80% of the time, eat as clean as possible. You want a healthy gut, right? So refined sugar, including white carbs, no bueno. The second one is high fat foods, like fast foods, including like canola oil or vegetable oil or anything that's deep fried. Those are very toxic for the body. Have like kombucha with every meal if you've had antibiotics even in the last 2 years. So those are the main bad things that you want to stay away from. And so it keeps it pretty simple when you look at it that way, right? And then that's it. I think those were the questions that were offered here for me to answer. I'm totally in love with kombucha. It's something that I have been a big fan of for the last 8 years or so. I've grown mine. I don't have one right now actually, but I used to grow them a lot. I used to have like 6 to 8 ones going at a time, all different flavors. Right now I buy it. I would be happy to make it again. I think I'll get you guys next round on the kombucha workshop. But this is it. That's the simplicity of gut health, you guys. So continue to eat healthy, be happy, and share your love through food with others. Have a beautiful day, my friends. Bye.